Grafton's Public School Committee meeting for October 10th, 2023. My only chair report is just to remind everybody that town meeting is next Monday, the 17th at the high school. So join us. We'll be there. You can be there too. And I will open it up this evening for any public comment. Okay, none tonight. So it's my great pleasure to welcome Nicole McDonald up for our special education report. Nicole is our Director of Special Education. Welcome, Nicole. Thanks for coming.
I do have my water, so I'm losing my voice a little bit, so I'll be embarrassed when I start to cough and I can't stop, so I apologize. Thank you so much for welcoming me back. Chris Kitchell, my Assistant Special Education Director that you guys met last month, couldn't make it today. He had a family thing come up and unfortunately couldn't make it, so you're stuck with me and my lovely voice. So I'm just going to go through a couple things tonight. E-signature, talk a little bit about that. Tiered focus monitoring, which I'll go through exactly what that is and where we are in the process through the department. The new IEP and how we're planning to kind of roll that out over the next school year. Professional development across the special education department, so including paraprofessionals, related service providers, special education teachers, etc. And just finish up with our kind of what we're looking forward to for the 23-24 school year. So starting with a quick introduction, like I said, unfortunately, Chris can't be here tonight, but I wanted to kind of discuss, as you know, Chris and I are a new team together this year, what our focus is going to be over our time together, the things that we want to hone in on and make sure that we're addressing and solidifying for the special education department for Grafton. So our focus this year is really honing in on our continuum of service delivery, being sure that we have things to reference that we can, put out there to families and different folks about our continuum, talking a lot about inclusion and how we include our students with disabilities, whether that's our students with 504 needs or special education needs. So for Chris and I, that is something we're very passionate about. So that's going to be our focus as a special education team. So I just wanted to kind of start there and include Chris and I's email in case anyone needs anything from us. So the first thing that we rolled out this school year was electronic signature. This was rolled out on October 1st, 2023. So far, we've already seen some of these benefits. Our top benefit would be IEP timelines, compliance, making sure we're getting IEPs and 504s to families in a timely manner, and then also getting those back in a timely manner to make sure that we can really implement those IEP services or those 504 services as soon as possible, as soon as parents have the chance to look at those and return that. We've already seen, even after our rollout, it was kind of funny. Melissa Johnson, one of our preschool team chairs, was doing an evaluation consent form to send out to a parent, and she talked to that parent about the evaluation. She sent to our office that the evaluation consent form was ready for mailing, and then it was back from the parent. So all within a half hour. So I think everyone was pretty happy and satisfied with the fact that we can get things back really quickly and get things rolling for students as quick as we can to make sure we're addressing their needs. So that was a really great part for us. Also, we often are asked about sending some of our documentation through email. Our email is not confidential and secure, so we've always avoided that piece. This way, what we're sending it through PowerSchool, through DocuSign, it is confidential. Parents have to kind of sign into their PowerSchool account, which really gives us that opportunity to be able to get things in the hands of parents much quicker and in a secure manner. And then, of course, convenience and less paper. Some of our documentation can be, 20 to 30 pages for an IEP. So, of course, that saves us a lot and saves our families a lot of paper kind of hanging out at our homes. I'm sure, as many of you do, you get a lot of, things home every day. So it all kind of gets in the jumble. Our hope is that it doesn't. The great and convenient thing about our e-signature is once a family has signed that IEP, they automatically get a copy sent back to them of the signed IEP in their email. So I think we're also going to, that's going to help us in the long run for any requests for, can you send me my child's IEP, or can you send me my child's 504? That will help, because parents will have that readily available to download or to keep in their emails and download later. Tiered focus monitoring. If many of you have been here for a while, this is the review of select policies, procedures, student records, facilities, schools that we have to ensure that we're following state and federal laws and regulations with regard to special education and civil rights. So it's completed by the Department of Education. I did include here in a link like frequently asked questions for parents about what tiered focus monitoring is. People often refer to it as TFM. You might have heard before. It's been called 17 different things through the years, because we often always just, revamp the acronyms. But we are in the midst of tiered focus monitoring for us at Grafton Public Schools. So there are two focuses, and this whole process takes about 6 years. So year one is a self-assessment of our special education focus. So listed up here, exactly IEP development, programming, all of that good stuff. Year two is when the Department of Education comes out and does a site visit, does active record review. And then we are kind of rated and might have some different things that we need to improve upon. And so we have year three to do that improvement. Year four is focused in on the civil rights focus. So we do that same process again. We do a self-assessment, we do an on-site visit, and we then have another year to kind of improve in any place that we need to. We are in year five. So we did, myself and Mrs. Gasper, did our civil rights focus self-assessment last year. And this year they will come out to Grafton Public Schools to take a look at our facilities, take a look at records, and really hone in with us on any areas for improvement. So I just kind of outlined that there. So like I said, the year 1, 2, and 3 repeat. So on our year 2 that we're currently in, there will be interviews, surveys, student record reviews, and building tours. And then after that, we will have kind of an exit interview where the department will review with us how we did on all the standards that we're looking to address. The next steps, so next year, we will have, they kind of rate the school district tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4. Tiers 1 and 2 receive a continuous improvement and monitoring plan. So those are just things that are, smaller improvements that we might need to make. Tier 4 and 5 would have a corrective action. So those are much bigger things. As long as I can remember, we've always been in that tier 1, tier 2, where we've just had to do slight tweaks or things to make sure that we are in compliance with everything we've needed to do. Ooh, oh gosh, I did put fancy things on there. Forgot about that. So the new IEP rollout, I included here the new form, so there will be a link to that if anyone wants to look at the new IEP. I think Bob and I talked a little bit about it last year. We're oddly excited about this. So Chris is the same kind of geeking out over this new IEP as I am. If you want to take a look, you certainly can. But what I wanted to focus on with you all today is how we're going to do that. And give you a little more information on what we are doing to ensure that our staff and everyone, including parents and guardians, are informed on the new IEP. So our first step is the Train the Trainer model. The Department of Education has a Train the Trainer model for us. Chris and I will be going to that training on Monday. And then our next step from there is to train the team chairs in each building. So we have 6 team chairs. Us as a group will then work together to create a specific training for our staff, in which all staff will be trained. That includes our general education teachers, paraprofessionals, anybody that might interact with a IEP should know what it's about, what it looks like, where they can find their critical pieces within that IEP. So that will involve some of our PD time, some of our staff meeting time, and different things this year to ensure that all of our staff are well informed on the new IEP coming out. And then our last step would be a parent orientation to that IEP. We want to make sure that parents know when they're getting it that it's going to look different, why it's going to look different, and what to look for when they're getting that IEP. Going to be working with our CPAC to really organize how they feel that should look, and then distribute information to all parents as we go through. So that is kind of our steps. We then will roll with that new IEP in the fall, so starting next school year. We are able, lucky enough, Power School, and Power School Special Programs, which is our IEP programming, is going to open the new IEP for testing in December. So we'll be able to really use that for training as well, which I think will be a great option for us. Professional development. So all of our new staff, as I just talked about, we are rolling out that new IEP for next year. So some of our professional development this year will focus in on that new IEP. We did also put in for this year's professional development trauma-informed teaching practices. I think this is a crucial thing for all people in education to kind of understand how trauma might affect a student. So we're actually bringing in UMass Medical School's Lifeline for Kids to do that training for all of our teaching staff, paraprofessionals. And then lastly, working out between Chris and I, inclusive practices, what that means, that inclusion of students with disabilities is not, just inviting them to the party, right? It's immersing them in our everyday community within our schools. So I think that is something that Chris and I are really gonna focus on with all of our staff. And then our related service providers. So I included a couple of the bigger trainings that some of our related service providers and conferences are going to this year. We have a number of speech and language pathologists going to the ASHA conference, which is in Boston this year, which is wonderful. We have a couple of school psychologists going to the MESPA. That's what they call it, which feels weird coming off of my mouth, so I apologize, which is the School Psychologists Association conference this year. And then on top of our trauma-informed teaching practices for all our staff members, we're going to do a really targeted training for our school adjustment counselors and other related service providers that are kind of working day in and day out with students that may have a history of trauma, or like many of us have had some traumatic experiences over the last couple of years with COVID and everything that we had to cope with through that time. Paraprofessionals. So we have already done the special education process. Every year we like our team chairs to review with paraprofessionals what the IEP is, what components of the IEP are crucial for them, and really hone in on different aspects of special education. So that was a part of our September PD. We are going to also focus in on behavior learning practices, so any interventions and applied behavior analysis that maybe we need to hone in on. So we're looking to have, for an upcoming PD day, different tiers. So we have some really experienced paraprofessionals in that area, and then paraprofessionals that don't have the same background knowledge that others do. So we're really kind of looking to tier that a little bit, so that our, really experienced paras aren't kind of sitting through a lot of things they already know, and it's much more meaningful for them. But we're able to really hone in with our newer paras on some of those practices. And then, of course, like I said, they will also participate in the trauma-informed teaching practices and the new IEP, PD inclusive practices. And then additional PLCs we have going on. Last year, I believe Lisa Rice spoke about this in one of her presentations, and I believe Bob and I did as well. We started last year a Wilson PLC for the teachers that are certified in providing Wilson to our students. We're continuing that this year, and I've already had and kind of set up some really great goals with our team and Kristen Perrone this year. So I'm really excited about that continuing. And then we also have PLCs with our related service providers. So Chris and I meet with our speech and language pathologists, our school psychologists and school adjustment counselors, our BCBAs and behavior specialists, and of course our team chairs as well. But really trying to tailor that to them. So we're actually even combining our school psychologist meeting and our school adjustment counselors meeting. So they'll have some carryover where we can really focus in on wellness as we move forward this year. What are we looking forward to? I think for me, I'm really excited that Chris has joined us this year. I think he's going to be a fantastic asset to Grafton Public Schools and has jumped right in, going to meetings and doing all the things that we need him to do, of course. But I think what I am most looking forward to is the two of us being able to work together to really look at our special education programming, look at our inclusive practices, explore where the needs are, and really make some changes if we need to, but also identify the strengths and what folks are doing really, really well within our district, and being able to highlight that. So that's all I have. I did include some links to our website, which I've revamped a little bit, and then also our Special Education Parent Advisory Council website. We do have actually a meeting on Thursday evening in this room, little plug. The CPAC would love that I'm plugging if anyone wants to attend. We actually will have elections on Thursday, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Questions? Rebecca?
I have a question. You mentioned UMass Lifeline for Kids. Can you just talk about what that is a little bit?
Yes, of course. So UMass Medical School has a specific area of their school that focuses specifically on trauma for children and how to get services, what that looks like. So they do a lot of professional development for people like us, different agencies, to really talk a little bit about how trauma can affect the brain, how it changes for students and children in the community, and what that can look like and how to best respond to that. So that's one of our special education directors and all of our emails suggested that they were a great resource. They use them as well. And even just speaking with them, I think they're going to be a really great asset and be able to answer a lot of questions for any staff members that have them. So,
Thanks.
Leora?
Sure. Thanks. Great presentation. Thank you. It's always great to see you here. I wanted to dig in a little bit to the inclusive practices. I think one of the things that parents of kids who receive special education services find is that as the kids get older, sometimes inclusion becomes more difficult, right? Because their needs change and it's just, I think our elementary schools do a tremendous job. So I guess, how are you looking at sort of this review of inclusive practices? Is there any sort of special focus on the older grades? And, are we looking at training? Sort of, can you talk a little bit about what you and Chris are looking at?
absolutely. So, as some of you might know, when Bob and I worked together for the first 2 or 3 years, he was a little more focused on the secondary level, and I was a little more focused on the elementary level. As our roles started to shift last year, And now this year, I'm able to take a little bit more of a deep dive into our secondary group. I think for Chris and I, a lot of what we have been talking about is inclusive practices goes all the way from students that potentially maybe only have like a speech and language service or things like that, all the way to students that have an extensive amount of special education services. So really being able to explore our continuum, what that looks like across the board, what students might require co-teaching, which is kind of inherently that inclusion model. And are we including all the students we can in that co-teaching model as opposed to a more pulled out model? What does that look like? Can we look at co-teaching a little differently within that aspect? So I think for me, it's really about our whole continuum and how we're including every student, from that student that, maybe has some challenges with communication that might impede their access to certain curriculum. How are we best accommodating that? To those students that have a lot more services that maybe are seemingly a lot lower grade level than many of their peers. How do they get to be in that grade level classroom and participate actively? And when I say participate actively, I mean like meaningfully, right? Not just kind of coming in and maybe doing their own work to the side or things like that. They need to be actively involved in the community of the classroom. And from our general education teachers to our special education teachers to our paraprofessionals, that is everyone's job. And how do we make that happen? So that is what we're really trying to hone in on over this year, is take a look at that. What are we doing now? Where can we be better? And then let's roll it out. Yeah.
Any other questions? I have a couple questions. Thank you, Nicole. Going back to the training for paras, I loved how you talked about the tiers and breaking that out. Are there mentors for paras? Do you get to kind of match up the ones that have a lot of experience with the newer ones? Is that something that we do?
So it definitely varies. I would say sometimes that's easier said than done. Some of the work, and I've talked to this group in the past about our paraprofessional support planning and how we can, minimize or have paraprofessionals for those students that really need it. And that's crucial, right? So with that, when we're kind of taking paras and redistributing them in a way in which the students, we're only having paraprofessionals for the students that really need them. It's very hard to take those paraprofessionals away from students, right? To be able to mentor.
Yeah.
So what we've tried to do is set up different things within the building. So orienting a new paraprofessional to the building, that might be with the building administrator, that might be shadowing a paraprofessional for a couple days, those kind of things to help do that and train. It is the job of the related service providers and special education teachers to make sure that those paraprofessionals are getting all the information they need to work with the student they're working on. But it is a very individualized training to that student, if that makes sense,
Yep.
and where that student is at that moment.
Okay, great, thank you. And can you remind us who our 504 chair is?
Me?
You, okay. All right. I thought as much.
Did not say that as confidently as I wanted to, but yes, it's me.
Excellent. Wow, congratulations and thank you for that.
Yes,
I tried
we
to find
do
it on the
have-
website. I couldn't find it, so I was like, it must be Nicole.
It's
So-
me. We do have 504 coordinators in each building. That does vary by building. So our high school building, the 504 coordinators are your guidance counselors in that building. The middle school is Mrs. Martellio, the assistant principal, and same for North Street Elementary School. Mr. Wiltshire and Ms. Kropaska are sharing that responsibility.
Okay.
Mr. Schwab is the coordinator at Millbury Street Elementary School, and Jenna Pilsky, the school psychologist across South Grafton and North Grafton, is the coordinator there. But I am
You're in charge.
person, I guess.
Excellent. I think that's all that I had. Anybody else think of another question? Megan and Vita, anything? And I feel like I would be remiss just not to thank Bob Wall for all his years of services.
Yes.
He retired last year. I don't think we ever really said anything, so
Okay.
it was
We miss
wonderful
him.
that, yeah.
I'm sure he doesn't miss us on his boat and, at the lake,
Probably
but maybe he thinks of us
I'm
every now
sure
and
he
then.
misses us.
Sure he does.
And we wish him a happy retirement, just because you brought him up, and I realized we never thanked him for all his years of
Absolutely.
service. So I'm sure he's watching at home,
Oh,
or he'll watch it later on the internet.
Maybe.
he's going it right now.
I'm sure he's filming it. He's putting it in the VCR. Anyway,
That would be more Bob's.
that would be more Bob.
Exactly. I thought I went far back and I put
yeah.
Tito.
Nicole, thank you so much for all you do. We're glad to have you and look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Thank you so much.
Nicole.
Did you want to stay for the budget report? No? No.
Thank you.
I love that. Okay.
No, thank
Good night, Nicole. So Jay, you're gonna go into the special education budget first, or is that?
Where's that from?
All right. So I will introduce Kathleen Longarini, who is our new Director of Finance. I don't think everybody here has met Kathleen. She's been an absolutely fantastic addition to our team. We couldn't be more excited to have her here in Grafton. I put on the agenda that since we had Nicole, we'd start digging into the the special education budget. I quickly realized after talking to Kathleen and us kind of resetting the schedule for the development of the budget, which is in your book and it's up here as well, that it just didn't make sense. We're not even out of the start blocks, and never mind. Even when we have special ed we've got them November 7th, it will still be very, very preliminary. Out of all the different kind of budgetary buckets, that one really is the last to fully develop. And even then, oftentimes after we set the budget, there are changes with students going out of district, coming back, and what have you. So anyway, I'll hand it off to Kathleen.
Great.
Thank
Well,
you.
welcome, Kathleen.
Thank
It's
you.
nice to
Good
have
evening,
you.
everyone. It's nice to be here. I started July 5th in the finance department as the director of finance, and I jumped right in because in the finance world, summer is a busy time, which people probably don't realize. We're here working through the summer. It's an interesting time of year because you're closing a fiscal year and then you're opening up a new one. So there's a lot of activity going on for payroll. You are working with a summer payroll because you have things going on, summer programs, and that's a payroll they're running. It's also a busy hiring season, so you're also getting ready for the first paycheck of the school year, which is they're working all summer getting new contracts onboarded. So Lynn Jolson has been here many years, and she does a tremendous job in payroll. And then we have purchasing and billing also going on. So all of the purchase orders are rolling in July 1st to get ready for the new school year. And Rose Page is in accounts payable, and she also does a wonderful job. They have great systems in place. They're both extremely organized. And so I actually came into a strong department with best practices already in place. So they made it a little bit easier for me. As I had to learn my new job this summer, I had to learn a new accounting system, and there was a lot going on. So it was a busy summer, and now we just closed the first quarter of fiscal year '24. Everything's on track, but it's early. So I was saying I want to be able to keep track and provide tracking for you throughout the year. So hopefully I can do that quarterly at a minimum for you. And now it's October, which is budget season. But yay! So the next couple months we'll be having a lot of conversations as we develop the fiscal year 25 budget season. And we are beginning conversations now with the departments. And this timeline here is kind of helps us walk through meeting with several departments and staying on track, so that we can provide preliminary budget by the end of December. I guess that's the timeline we have here, so.
We also met last week with the town administrator to talk about budget and talk about capital. In terms of budget, they're hoping on the town side, if you will, to have information for us, some estimates as to what FY25 is going to look like. And then they're also engaging in forecasting. So they're hoping, but I think it was by the end of the month, to have a 5-year forecast, which both of those two things will be incredibly helpful for all of us as we move forward.
One thing also I want to mention, something that was pending before I started, was a new staff member in the finance department. She began here with us the end of the summer. Her name's Krista Merritt, and she's going to be the accounts payable and payroll assistant to the team. So she's been a great addition. It's going to add some work-life balance for the team, and cross-training is important in this department. So she has completed our team, and I'm feeling positive vibes in the department. It's great. And I'm happy to be here.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Before I open up to questions, I was looking at the timeline. I realized I misspoke at the top of the meeting, and town meeting's on the 16th, not the 17th. I was thinking a week, then thinking today was Monday because of the holiday. And anyway, I don't want anyone showing up on the wrong night.
Oh, is that?
No,
the-
you're right.
Oh,
I
okay.
was wrong.
Okay.
I was wrong. Any questions?
I didn't even notice you said
Yeah,
that. I should've-
somebody, I'm
I should've
sure.
caught that.
Amy would have noticed.
Yes,
for
I
sure.
was asleep at the beginning of the meeting.
No, I thank you for not correcting me. Any questions for Kathleen this time? I know we're just talking timeline. It's great to have you here, and I'm guessing it's too early to say, but are there any pending red flags that we've seen yet, or don't know yet? Should I be knocking?
Yeah, I don't, we definitely don't know yet.
Okay.
And just to reiterate, this year, so for the past 2 years, we've been trying to go completely over to ClearGov. And I think I've made this clear, but if not, I want to drive it home. This year, we are still going to send our core information to ClearGov, so we're participating. But we are going to go back to developing our own standalone budget book. That just, not having it was a real challenge in the past couple of years. So it might look a little different, in that the two of us will be working on it, obviously, for the first time. I'm excited about that. Not really excited about all the work that's going to go into it, but I'm excited about what's going to come out of it.
Anybody think of anything? Well, Kathleen, welcome. I know we'll be seeing a lot more of you, so you are always welcome. You always are welcome at the table as well if you like to join us. But we're welcome to the district. We're excited to have you, and looking forward to a great year and beyond. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye. everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. All right. Strategic plan update.
All right. Obviously, my eyes were bigger than my stomach when putting this together. I thought I'd have a fully updated strategic plan for you. I don't. We are going to maintain the 4 pillars of instruction, well-being, connection, and infrastructure. We're set up for that. I don't foresee making a change to those 4 pillars over the next 2 years. The core goals will remain the same. We made a lot of progress last year, but they were clearly developed to be multi-year in terms of their format. What is going to change, and what I'm working with the district leadership team on right now, is resetting the actual action steps. So on the 8 to 10 pages that would follow this cover page, that you may recall is all the action steps broken down, who's responsible, rough timeline, that type of thing. And I just need more time with the district leadership team. We did have one meeting, and my hope was to utilize that time for that, but I had an unexpected family thing out of state and had to miss the meeting. So I plan on coming back probably in 2 weeks. At the most, it would be in 2 meetings with a updated draft of a 2-year plan. Okay. My goals, I didn't change them at all. I think everybody on the committee, at least at the time of the last meeting, were fairly happy with the goals. I had two student learning goals, one around literacy, one around math, and then two professional practice goals. The part that I haven't changed, and I will once I send out the survey, is that 5% increase. That number, I want it to be ambitious, but I'm just making up the 5%. I want it to be based on reality, and reality will be defined once I get the results back. Any questions about those four goals? Okay. All right, and then I just had a few things for the superintendent report. The South Grafton Elementary School playground is finally having an official opening. That opening is taking place this coming Thursday at 2:00, and I think it's like a whole school event. They have songs planned. I'm speaking and presenting or dedicating the playground to Doreen Parker, which I'm happy to do. It's going to be interesting talking to pre-K through 1, and my audience, that's like really not my specialty, but I will figure it out. But Doreen will be in attendance. I'm sure she's absolutely thrilled. It's come out beautifully. A lot of people did a lot of hard work in making it happen, from our CPC to capital funding to all of your work. It was really a great combination in terms of putting the wheels in motion. Tony LeMay, Frank Rothwell, Shauna Carlson, and our maintenance staff just did a wonderful job putting all the pieces together, literally, and getting it open. So it looks good. It's really exciting. The kids are beyond excited for the new playground. A few other things I mentioned earlier, a new 5-year capital plan. We just finished the 5-year plan. That was another thing that over the past 2 years we shifted entirely to ClearGov. I'm planning to do the exact same thing that I'm doing with the budget. We'll still participate in ClearGov, but we'll have a very long and very detailed plan in place for the next 5 years. Once we have a draft that will go before you, you can obviously have a significant voice in what goes before what in terms of priority. It's definitely a huge challenge. It just is. We're thankful for the money that we receive through capital, but we can usually expect 500 to 600,000, and with 600,000 square feet and 6 schools and the GAIN program, it just doesn't go too awfully far. But we'll have a great plan in place, that I can promise you. Kathleen already spoke to the start of the budget process. I really am excited about working with Kathleen as we go through it. She's been a tremendous addition for us. Tomorrow I meet with Worcester area superintendents in the Worcester Health Alliance tomorrow afternoon over in Shrewsbury. This is the first time they've had this type of meeting, at least in the last decade, where the heads of each school district plus the Worcester Health Alliance are going to talk about how they can best utilize the resources that they have. They're spread thin. I get it. I think you get it. But how can we identify as a region what our biggest needs are and utilize what resources are available as effectively as possible? That effectiveness, instead of doing it town by town, may end up being more partnerships between towns. If we had a vaping cessation specialist, not that we couldn't use one full-time, but we don't have one at all now. So even having 2 days a week, 1 day a week, and share with other area districts, that would be impactful. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about mental health for students and staff, and I'm sure vaping is going to be a huge topic. And then promising practices, we belong to 2 collaboratives and 1 consortium. That's the Blackstone Valley Educational Consortium. Every year they run a Promising Practices Award ceremony where educators in the participating districts who are exceptional in terms of the services that they provide to the town and to the students that they serve, really stands out, are recognized. This year, we are recognizing Karen Johnson. She's a Grafton High School special educator, does absolutely phenomenal work. My hope is at a future meeting to have Karen here. She can speak about the project that she's getting recognized for. I'm going to talk to her on Friday about coming before the school committee. I'm assuming that would be fine. So that's on Friday. And then last but not least, today I received notice that our own Laura Offen has been selected to receive an MASC Lifetime Achievement Award, recognizing her committee and association work and advocacy over the past decade. And Laura will receive her award at the MASC Leadership Dinner on November 9th. So congratulations, Laura. That's awesome. I'm sure it was going to be a bill from MASC. And that was awesome. And that's all I have.
Any questions?
I will leave this up there. This is like walking right into it and be done. You can speak to this.
All right. Who's going first?
One of those cakes looks familiar.
Yeah. They were walking in. You would have thought they were holding like nuclear material. It was great.
Do you want to start? Or? Sure. So this was today in our AP Gov class. We had a federalism cake day, and so we all basically chose a topic, and we basically said if the national government had more influence, if the state government had more influence, or if it was a mixture, and our cake was supposed to be based on that. So for example, mine was healthcare, and so mine was that it's both federal government and state government, so I made a marble cake. You can't really see it in the picture, but yeah, it was so fun.
That's amazing.
You had to present, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was your cake the most expensive cake that if you ate a piece, you'd go bankrupt?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do with all these cakes? I was really
It was we all left it in
Yeah.
the teacher's room, and then there was not a single bite that was taken.
I wonder if they knew this was coming, or they just walked in.
I
And
don't know. And we had it first periods, nobody was even hungry, so
That's so fun. What a fun idea. I can't see Ken. I can't
What
really
other
see.
topics were there?
she's in the middle.
there was
right under
immigration,
She's got a
gun
aqua
rights, stem cells.
I mean, get into it, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
environment policy was cats.
nice.
What kind of cake did you make?
She made a marble cake as well.
Yeah, most of them were marbles.
It had
That's good.
the blue-green frosting with she had a cloud with a smiley face on it.
Megan, are you there too?
It was an extra credit assignment. I didn't get to it. I was sick, so.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I can't see. I can't see the picture, so I didn't mean to. So, all right.
Where's your cake?
Where's your next? How about this? If you have time, you can bring your cake to us.
It's not a terrible idea.
And do a presentation. So that's awesome. Any other updates from the world of the students?
Well, tomorrow is College and Career Day, so 11th graders and 10th graders are taking the PSAT, and then 12th graders who want to are taking the SAT. Tomorrow is also open mic night at 2:15.
Dangerous.
And then we have the NHS trunk or treat coming up. I think that's the 21st. Sorry, I just need to check my notes. I think there was something else. Oh yeah, we have the Krispy Kreme donuts sale coming up with the seniors. And then for the students not doing the PSAT or the SAT, there's some activities at the school, and then I know there's also an opportunity to visit colleges or research colleges outside of school.
Yeah, that's pretty
And the
much
Krispy Kreme sale goes until
I don't know. You know more about that than me.
October 18th.
I'd like to thank the committee's support. Everybody supported, so thank you for that.
I had to buy
Not
them from other
everybody,
people too. I'm
actually.
getting so many Krispy Kremes, and I'm happy about it. That is not a bad thing in my opinion.
Not all the people at the table. Anything else? Homecoming went well? I didn't
Yeah.
hear really any.
The decoration was really good this year.
Yeah, that was really great.
You can thank your own Mrs. Spinney for co-chairing
Part
that.
and,
Co-chairing
many
that.
others probably.
Yeah, it looked amazing. Great. Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
Well, we don't actually, it's a nice short meeting night. I don't think we have much moving forward, so you are welcome to leave if you want. We're not even, yeah.
Or if you want to stay and
Yeah.
see the end of a meeting. that's
Yeah,
when
you're
you
also
have
welcome to
it.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. That's fair.
Whatever you want.
They're gonna go.
It was great to see you both. Thank you. Megan, that cake, I prefer vanilla.
Oh,
No,
chocolate.
chocolate.
Fine. Marble.
Let's take a let's
Red
take a vote.
velvet.
Make a motion.
Did she say what her
No, she said
policy was?
she didn't do it. Just to
Or
think
she
about it.
didn't?
Maybe she didn't have one. She can pick whatever she wants.
Right, so she can definitely.
She can think about it. I'll give her extra. I don't think I can give extra credit, but I will.
Exactly. Don't bring vanilla.
Okay. Future agenda schedule planning.
So do we have to, so we skipped over preliminary special education budget. Do we
Yeah.
have to put that,
Somewhere else.
place
Somewhere
that
It's
after
it's on
November?
November
Yeah.
7th, I think. I don't know if
Um,
it's
already
I don't know if
Nope.
it's
Hasn't
updated
been
on this
moved.
on the
That's
table.
correct. I haven't updated
Yeah, but it
Okay.
was on the
this yet, but
timeline.
I'll take that timeline and insert it entirely in here.
Okay, and
that-
then the strategic plan update, we'll have to
We'll have
add
to
that to
add
the
that.
meeting.
I'll do it one of the next two.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the 24th. So we have our student advisory council meeting will be at 6 PM for those who can make it. We're gonna try a different approach this year and start with topics, so we can kind of focus in on some of the topics that map back to our strategic plan. And obviously, if they have issues, they can raise them, but just to try to keep it a little more focused, so we can actually take some information that's just not more on the principal's list that they should be taken care of. So we'll see how it goes. We have a lot of interest, which is great. And what? Why are you laughing? Do we not have a lot
I
of
think there was a
interest?
lot of interest at the fair.
Oh, gee, Laura.
I put out a
for-
survey to all of those students.
Yeah.
Plus the students who attended last year, and it's a busy time of year.
Yeah.
And I'll do it again, but so far we have 3.
Okay, that's a lot of interest to me. Somebody was concerned we'd have like 30 people.
Well, it starts with 3 and then.
Yeah, then they hear about it.
Well, I was gonna say, then we should.
drop
lose
Then
we
a
go down to
couple.
2.
So,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Well,
we
you'll send a
can-
reminder.
I will.
Yep. Anyway, we'll see how it
get some-
goes.
Would love to have some more.
Yeah,
Yep.
Maybe there'll be cake.
maybe there'll be cake.
We should advertise that there will be
I
cake.
advertised there'd be pizza.
Now we have
You
to
can
bring
bring-
cake.
I'm not bringing the cake.
Note to self.
You can bake a cake, bring it.
Buy a cake.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Settle, simmer down.
You can't bring up cake and ask us to stop.
I didn't bring up the cake.
Jay brought up.
Jay brought up the cake. Okay, we have new minutes and we have a new secretary, so welcome Rebecca Mahoney.
Yes.
Very exciting. She's a Grafton teacher, so she's in the district, and she already submitted her first minutes. I don't know if everybody got a chance to read them, enough to talk, or do we need to? Okay,
I mean, I did.
I did
Yep.
too, but
I did
I know.
not, as you know.
Well, no, that's okay. So, okay.
Yep.
Anybody have any?
I thought they were very, very nice, very thorough. Maybe don't have to be so thorough, just note, it's, but it's hard to, when you're first doing it, to find that balance. The only, I saw in the section, this is like gonna be like that mirror effect where it just keeps going and going and going. The discussion about the approval of the last minutes,
Oh, yeah.
I think there was a lot more discussion, and again, I'm not trying to ask for every word, but I think there were a few other points that we brought up, and then the motion that I made was to approve with all of those changes, so I just wanted to make sure that that was clear in here. I'd have to watch the video again to remind myself, because I know you had some things you brought
yeah.
up when So there were a few
Okay.
other
There were multiple changes to the
changes
minutes, for
that
sure.
we made, yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to Rebecca tomorrow.
Okay. I mean,
But
would,
it's
is
extremely,
this strange? Wouldn't it be more important that the minutes were updated?
that the old minutes.
The old
were
minutes were updated? Because
Yeah,
that's really
I
the
mean, it could
record, than
be-
having it in the record, I mean, or I don't mean to
Or it
overcomplicate.
could be, I think it could be as simple as,
as
you know,
amended.
keep the first sentence where I ask to change the wording that I nominate myself to volunteer, and then other members requested additional
Similar
changes.
or- Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that I made the motion to approve the minutes with the proposed
Ah,
changes.
perfect.
Like
Yeah.
that's, I think
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
Yeah.
all we need.
Okay, yeah, I just want to be clear, we don't need every,
Yeah.
okay, terrific.
Got it.
Also, under section 4, you are not reaching out to the Conservative Political Action Committee, but CPAC, but SEPAC.
Yes.
Okay.
We also reached out to the conservative to put them on the
Yes,
agenda.
yeah.
Careful, that'll be.
I know, that'll be picked up. Strike that from the minutes.
She was joking.
We don't do that, no. But I thought they were great. They were, very thorough.
There was one I didn't think that I had seconded.
I just would propose that, as student representative, she makes sure she gets Anvita's name, correct, spelt right, and the last name added. She has it somewhere else in
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
so. And it's listed on our website if she needs to check. But other than that, I think it's great. So I'll take a motion.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I move that we accept the minutes for the meeting of September 26th. No,
With the changes.
with the changes as we've discussed them.
Okay, motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
I'm abstaining.
All right, so 301. Abstention. Okay, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Rebecca, welcome to the team. We have, do you have the financial report that's on our agenda? Number 6. Is that what Amy's been asking for? No.
No, I was assuming it was
need
the
to-
warrant, no?
Well, then I have a warrant.
Just the one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The warrant.
I got confused.
the
It said
warrant.
financial report, and then I see a warrant. I
If you
apologize.
printed the Word version, it just kind of carried, I had to.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I
it
did
was
not
weird.
print the Word version.
it didn't,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
I have it in front of me here.
Oh,
Okay.
same, yeah.
Anyway, I guess we need a warrant approval.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that the school committee approve the warrant dated October 5th, 2023, in the amount of $299,140.08.
Second.
Motion been seconded. Any questions or discussion on the warrant? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Excellent. All right. Policy. I do have an update. I know Dr. Cummings sent it in his weekly memo, but for the public, I went home 2 weeks ago after our meeting thinking there's got to be a way. I must have missed something. I went back through my emails, reached out to MASC, and yes, that coding issue is an internal coding issue that we follow. So we are on track to have MASC host all of our policies. I believe it takes, I say 3 months? 3 months. I've been getting all the policy over to them. We paying their bill. The contract's all signed that Liz had signed, but we could carry that over. So we're good.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so that was great. I was wondering if we wanted to do anything on our website. Like, I know we're hybrid, but should we just direct people to MASC at this point? And then we can catch up with our hybrid, because worst case, they get a MASC policy versus an out-of-date policy. Just because we've had so many,
You mean in the meantime?
in the meantime, just put
Here's where they live.
and yes, they're not 100%, but I bet you they're more. We've had so many questions. We have a lot of really dedicated citizens right now who are very concerned about this, and they should be. So,
Yeah.
I
mean,
just
there was a concern, I didn't bring it up, somebody else brought it up last time about adding one more click, but it's a temporary fix.
That was me.
Was it you?
It
Okay.
was, but that was when we were gonna do it on every single policy.
Yeah,
Now
okay.
we're not. I just think on the homepage, we could have some language like, we're working, for the meantime, visit the MASC policies.
For these, like, and then list the ones that are MASC? I don't want to confuse people.
I
and
feel
have
like that
them-
would be I feel like it would be enough that our policies aren't so even our hybrid ones are so drastically different.
I would just want to be accurate about it.
I mean, we can do
We
it.
could
I don't
just
know how
I'd like that idea if we just,
we could just put
list
the
them.
chart up that you
Yeah.
made.
yeah, just cut and
Yeah.
paste the ones that we're using MASC policies for, just
And then people can look.
list them,
Okay.
yeah.
I get you what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll move forward to doing that. That's gonna take me it won't be tomorrow. But it'll be hopefully this week. And that's it on policy for now. I mean, we're gonna go back to reviewing and we have some policies we need to look at here too, and the bullying policy is updated thanks to Lynn, so that should be all set now. And, now people can just know what we're doing, and we can even just put a brief, like, as of, it's gonna only take a few months, here's how it is. If you have any questions, reach out to us or the superintendent, like,
Yeah.
okay, awesome. Member reports. No? I feel like it's been a quick 2 weeks. I don't know. Nothing. All right, me neither. Well, I guess we can talk probably next week. We're gonna have a trivia team tomorrow night.
Yes, we are
Yep.
tomorrow night.
So hopefully, team school committee will do well. And we can report back in 2 weeks, or not, depending.
We're 100%
Pretend it never happened.
Yeah,
We're winning.
if we don't-
Dominating.
We're dominating.
Are you allowed one satellite member to text?
We didn't
during
get a
the-
substitute.
No?
We appreciate you. We filled your shoes with, Dr. Cummings.
Oh.
I'm not sure what his trivia knowledge is, but
I hope you
Okay.
fill in some of our holes, like video games.
I don't, like, obscure history, Alaska. It's like
Oh.
Family Feud style.
Oh, right. It's
Oh,
Family
right.
Feud
Oh,
style.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Which
Oh,
he'll be,
even funnier.
I
Yeah,
like
better.
real trivia though. Can we do another one? Okay.
and Liz,
Well,
we,
I still need to have a fundraiser for the class of 2026.
I will
this
come
year,
to your
so
trivia night.
I'll,
Will there be donuts
keep
or
that in
cake?
mind. Oh, sure. yeah.
Excellent.
okay. All right, this is when the
Sorry.
meetings go off the rails.
Isn't this weekend Oktoberfest?
Yes.
Is that this
Oh,
weekend?
I thought, but
Oh,
yeah,
good.
Oktoberfest is this weekend.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep, I already
That's
bought
South
some
Grafton.
of my raffle tickets, I already
You
did
love the
online.
raffles.
And I will be there, to have some fun on Saturday. Yeah, are you volunteering?
I'm not volunteering.
But
I'm
you're gonna
going.
go?
Hopefully the weather holds out.
Even when it's rainy, it's still fun.
It is fun.
My husband loves to volunteer there. It's so fun. But
It is such a fun time.
it is.
I meant to bring that up. Thank you, Rebecca. All right, any correspondence for the team? No? No need to go into executive session. Sweet. I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? All right. Good night, everybody.